Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Cheryl and Shirley Show. Today, I have a great guest here, and she's fired up this morning. Boy, we've been chatting away. I wish we'd have been recording it then, and it was my fault. I have Brittany Kinser, who is running for Department of Public Instruction, State Superintendent of Schools, and she would be fantastic in the job. Brittany, please introduce yourself and just go into it, girlfriend.
Okay, thank you so much, Cheryl. I wish that we were recording our conversation
Me
too. It
too.
was
It was
it's been
great.
really, really good.
It was. It was passionate for sure.
Both of us. All right. So my name is Brittany Kinser. I'm running for State Superintendent of Public Instruction. We have our primary on February 18th. We have early voting today. Please, if you're in Wisconsin, please vote on the 18th. So I have been a special ed teacher, a science teacher, an award-winning Wisconsin public school elementary principal. I've run a nonprofit that advocated for education. And now I'm running an initiative called 95 Wisconsin. And this gets to how I'm now running for
Interesting.
DPI. I'm very passionate about making sure all children can read. Right now, only 3 out of 10 children in Wisconsin are reading well enough to go to college or be career ready. So that means 7 out of 10 are not. So thank you for reminding me to say that, Cheryl, earlier.
Absolutely.
7
Very
out
important. Say that again because it's very important.
so 7 out of 10 children in Wisconsin are not reading well enough
Mhm.
to go to college or have a career. It is devastating, that news. Just imagine if you're one of those children. And so I started this program, 95 Wisconsin, where I brought one-on-one tutoring for reading from a state that was getting amazing results from kids who hadn't grown since COVID. They're growing 2 years in 1 semester. I'm like, oh, we need this here in Wisconsin. But to prevent all the kids from needing tutoring, I also then go in and coach school leaders to support teachers on teaching phonics in the early grades. That is something that has not been happening for a long time.
Mhm.
So, coaching and making sure kids are learning how to read in the early grades. And then the tutoring for the students who did not get what they needed. So, I'm working with 5 schools, and I want to be able to spread this out throughout the state. The Department of Public Instruction knew that I was doing this back in the late spring last year and in the summer. They wanted to learn more about it. They love like the whole tutoring and going, with Act 20. It all goes together. So then I find out in August, though, from a friend that the current superintendent had lowered the standards for what it means for kids to be reading proficiently. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, "No, they've been talking to me. Why wouldn't they have told me about this?" So I texted someone up at, in Jill Underley's office and I said, "Did you all lower the standards for kids? Like we're not aligned to the nation's report card anymore? Like this is really bad for kids." We don't lower standards. We ensure that the teachers have the training they need to teach our students transparency so we can see how kids are doing and parents can be supportive and school boards. And then I was told, well, there were 80 experts that came together to lower it. And I'm like, who are these 80 experts? We don't have 80. Unfortunately, we don't have 80 assessment experts in Wisconsin. And then I was told that they didn't tell me. I found out later they signed non-disclosure. So we don't even know the process.
Mm.
And I didn't know who the people were at the time. So then I was told, well, we weren't even aligned to the nation's report card. I said, well, yes, we were. Governor Evers, when he was superintendent, and Governor Walker worked together. And now, we had these standards. And I sent them the links and I said, look, we were aligned. The only thing that wasn't aligned was 4th grade by a few points. We should have raised the standards there. Well, then I was told that I was just too angry.
Wow.
And then I got really angry. I was like, "You know what?" I'm like, "This is good for this is good for adults. Oh, look, we have more kids now reading on grade level. Give them a gold star." But they still know they can't read. Their future employer will know. Colleges will know. And so I went ahead, put my phone down. I went for a run. That's what I do. Went for a run. I was kind of saying a little prayer in my head. I was going through the forest area. And all of a sudden it popped into my head, you should run for DPI superintendent. I was like, wait, I should, and it wouldn't go away. And I ran back home like 20 minutes later. And so I started reaching out to people, and people I think didn't know if they were taking me seriously enough. They're like, yeah, great. Yeah, you're a go getter. Do it, Brittany, And then other people were like, oh, you're going to be going up against the Democratic Party. They just endorsed, Jill. Like, that is scary. Right.
Wow.
And so, but I started talking with people, and, it was during the presidential election. So I've never run for office. I couldn't find a campaign manager. I'd have to raise millions of dollars. I had to get 2 to 4,000 signatures in a month over the holidays, and I had a lot of people who were giving me good ideas, but I didn't have anyone that would said that they would help me. So I'm like, okay, well, normally I would have been like, I'll just do it, but no, I mean, the statewide election, I can't just do it by myself. So I decided I'm not going to do it. This is in December, early December. And a principal that I know working in Milwaukee texted me, said, Britt, I heard that you're not running. If it's not you, who's going to run for our kid? Who's going to be the voice of our kids?
Mm.
Got me in the heart. I was like, oh yeah, who's going to be the voice of our kids? And then someone who's one of his committee members called me and said, hi, Brittany, you don't know me. My name is Rob. And I have 50 volunteers to help you get signatures.
Wow.
And I'm like, but I need a campaign manager. I've never done this before. He's like, well, me neither, but I'll be your campaign manager until we can find someone. And I was like, okay. And then now I'm like, I can't believe I did that knowing what all this takes. But,
Yeah.
and then I was with my sister, my youngest sister is in Chicago, who came up to visit. She's never here. And she's like, Brittany, you got to do it. What's keeping you back? And our dad had died 5 years ago. And
Mhm.
she's like, Dad would want you to do this. And so I called around to see. I found out I had to have one person on my committee to sign up to get signatures
Mhm.
and with the election committee. And I called a couple of people. They're like, no way. Like, I don't want to be a
They're
part
not
of
gonna
this.
mess with that. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Whoa. You see, like, we're going through we just saw how people were getting attacked during the presidential election. That's
Mhm.
scary, right? People were really scared.
Yeah.
And then I called an amazing kindergarten teacher that worked for me when I opened up my charter school here in Milwaukee. And I said, hey, Rachel, what do you think about being my one committee person? I need one person. She's like, 100%. I believe you. I believe in you. And I know our kids need better. So she signed up. So a former principal and kindergarten teacher signed up to run for the Department of Public
Mhm.
Instruction.
That's
And then
fantastic.
and then I realized, oh my gosh, I need help. I have all these volunteers, but this is going to be a lot of work. And Amy Loudenbeck calls me, and we had worked a little bit on some education things together. And she's like, hey, do you want me to help you get some signatures? I'm like, no, I can't believe I asked her this. I said, no, can you actually help me organize this? Like, I need help. And she wrote back or she called me and she's like, let me backwards plan. I don't know. We're already at December 18th or 19th. She's like, you need signatures 2 to 4,000 by I think it was January 7th. She's like,
Mhm.
let me see. Let me backwards plan this. She calls me back in half an hour. She's like, we can do this. She's like, yes, I will help you. And the next day I'm like, will you be my campaign manager?
Mm.
She'd never been a campaign manager, but she's been a statewide candidate. She's
Right.
amazing. And
Yes.
so she said yes, and then we got a team together. We got over 4,300 signatures we were able to submit. I got more than any other candidate by
Okay.
1,000 at least. Then we even had 1,000 more come in. It was crazy. And so, crazy great.
Yes.
And so, yeah, and then so yeah, we got that. And then I was able to, shatter fundraising records. I just went and told my story about I want to restore high standards. I want to get us back to focusing on teaching reading, writing, math so our kids can get a meaningful job, attend college or master a trade, partner with our parents. They're our child's first teacher and their champion through life. Making sure the billions of dollars that are going into education and getting into the classroom and rewarding our great teachers and not more bureaucracy. And then
Mhm.
making sure that DPI is transparent, is predictable, is innovative. I know, right? And making sure that it's a place of best practices so that Wisconsin can be leading the way, that we can have 95% of kids who are prepared. And then, I'm the only candidate who is for parents having options for school choice. I'm also the only, the common sense candidate. biological boys playing in boys' sports, biological boys being in the boys' bathrooms. Just the common sense, beliefs and values here to make sure we're focusing on our kids learning and they're successful. And so again, like this is why I'm running. I I really believe that we can do this. We can transform education for our kids, that they can have a bright future. And I just need everyone to get out and vote on the 18th or vote today. It's a low turnout primary. People forget we just had a major election in November, that there's even a primary in February. And I tell
People
people,
talk about how cold it is right now. That's what they're talking about, is how cold it is, and it's like, you gotta get out and vote. I
yeah,
mean, and we're getting the message out as much as we can, and I am just pleased to have you running. I think you're gonna be fabulous. I mean, just by you and I talking for a few minutes before, just to get that message out, and also that we talked about the bucket of the money just pouring in, and, like, more money is not making this work. Something is wrong in Denmark and right here in Wisconsin. So we need to fix it. And so we need someone like you that can get in there. And you already know that you're up against a bunch of bureaucracy. We've already talked about that. And I think you have the skin thick enough to take it. Just rub down with olive oil twice a week, girlfriend, and let it all slide off. That's all you got to
I
do. Let
love
it all slide off. So I tell people all the time, I'll share the other one with you. I'm from a plumbing family. So I have a lot of crap thrown at me and I just let it all slide off. It doesn't stick. Yeah, it
I
just doesn't
love
stick.
that. I love
So,
olive oil. So
yeah, the olive oil one's great. Just rub down with olive oil twice a week and it all slides off and you don't have to
love
worry
it.
about it. Never
Love
take anything, in politics, nothing's personal. I think what's happening here is, this is a nonpartisan race. I think this is fabulous that you're standing up and you're talking to everyone. You're not like going, "Oh, I'm just going to be for this group or I'm just going to be for this group." You're talking openly to everyone.
Yes.
And we need to get you over the line February 18th. I've already voted, so,
Thank you.
And you were the only thing on my ballot too. It was kind of funny. I'm like, I've never, it's not hardly
Yeah.
ever do you ever have that, but spring primary, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
So I am going to do everything in my power to make sure that your name gets out there as much as I can. And I'm doing that on X and, anywhere else that I can on our Facebook page and stuff like that. So you will certainly be out there and I'm pulling for you, rooting for you. And after February 18th, when you have a nice win behind you, we will be working hard for you for April 1st too, because I think you really will make a difference. And that's really what I'm going for, is someone who cares about kids, because I do too, I told you that, and who will make a difference. I think we need that, and we need it desperately. It blows my mind that Tony Evers was the person in charge of DPI for so long, and then he becomes the governor, and it's like, what are you doing? I mean, if we're going to spend billions of dollars on our education, and how much is it for a classroom? For how much do we spend on kids in a classroom right now? I
I mean,
know, but
it depends. Well, no, it depends on the school district.
yes, it does.
So
But
for your
a
school
range.
district, right? It
Yeah.
just depends. So, like, if you have, well, in MPS, it's like 17,000 per kid. So it depends on
You
if
just
you have
blew my mind right there.
yeah, you have 20 kids in a classroom, but how much of
Mhm,
that is actually getting to the kids
mhm.
and getting to the teachers? We have to start treating our teachers like professionals, and our great teachers should be getting some kind of merit pay, not a blanket everyone making the same amount of money. Those great teachers are working for
Ooh,
every penny.
Act 10, you wanna keep that in place too, don't you?
Yes, I
A
do.
lot of a lot of tax-paying citizens would like to hear that.
Yeah, yes, Act 10 is just it's been the law of the land. It has kept our districts from going bankrupt. But with that, I wanna make sure our great teachers, right? So
Mhm.
Act 10 stay in place, are getting rewarded. And there are some cities here in, towns here in Wisconsin that are doing merit pay, like Cedarburg, who's I think they're the 1st or 2nd district, doing well. And so they are rewarding their teachers because they wanna retain their teachers, right? So you gotta
Mhm.
reward those great people, those teachers who are working really hard.
And I'll tell you this, as a citizen taxpayer, I am totally behind that 100%. If
Right.
you have I mean, I used to love that when we had rock star teachers and we would make sure that they got some kind of acknowledgement for that.
Yes,
And
yes,
merit pay is a great way to do it.
yes, yes, other states are doing it,
Mhm.
and so we've gotta learn from other states, and I can when I become superintendent, that will be one of the best practices. Here's a best practice on how you can retain your teachers. This is how you do it, right?
Mhm.
Here's an option. So school boards can go easily and school districts can easily get information, and then we can also be responsive, right? And right now, I called to get something changed on something, and it was like 10 days from now, someone will call you back. 10 days?
Yeah, probably
Why?
days, and they're probably working at home. So one
What?
other thing that I wanted you to point out too is that the transparency that you wanna open up for DPI, that you'll be transparent with people, and I think that's really important. Do you know how hard it is to get around? I do open records requests, I think I shared that with you,
Yeah.
and it's very hard to get around the website. I do not like. I'm trying to find something. All I wanna do is find this school district, and I just wanna look it up, and it takes me 45 minutes, and I've been
Yes.
on DPI hundreds of times. It's so frustrating, and for parents, they just give up. They're just like, "I'm not." I've had people reach out to me and go, "Where did you find that?" You
Yeah.
know? And I have to put a link up so they know where I found it. That's ridiculous.
Yes, I
It shouldn't
agree
be
with
hard.
you. It should not be hard. We have to make it very easy too.
Mhm.
I was listening, like, there's so much information. No, let's provide the information that the parents need, school boards need, make it really easy to find. I say putting a dashboard right there on the front page of the website. Here, this is where you find everything. Even an app. Here's an app on your phone. You don't even
Oh
have
my
to go to the
gosh.
website. Other
Perfect
states are
idea.
other states are doing it. It's not something that it's innovative, but we can bring it here. We
Right.
can learn from them.
It's not rocket science. I mean, other states are doing it, and that doesn't mean we have to do everything other states are doing because every
No, no,
state's different,
best
but
practice.
best
Best practice.
practices. Oh, love that. I love it. Yeah. Brittany, I know that you are extremely busy. We were supposed to be taping this earlier, but it's my fault. And I appreciate you coming on. I've received your mailers. They have a lot of good information on it. I still think that I'm going to be pointing out 7 out of 10 kids in our state are not ready to go to college or get a good job. And
Yep.
that has to stop. And I think Brittany Kinser is the person to do it. Tell us where we can get more information about you, and then I will let you go. And I am very, very, very pleased that you came on, and I appreciate. And it's so nice to see you like person. Now, hopefully, I'll see you soon.
That's so great. Thank you so much, Cheryl. So my website is Kinser, Kinser, for wikids.com. So Kinser for wikids.com. You can go and learn more about me. My bio's on there, my issues, all the news, all of that. If you want to sign up for our newsletter, please do that. If you want to donate, I have to raise millions of dollars. Unfortunately, that's how much it costs to run for a statewide office. So please donate. $10, $5, anything. I will accept, any kind of support that you'd like to give me. So thank you so much. Vote February 18th, Kinser. Thank you.
Make sure that they go to your X. You have an account on X too, social media, your Facebook. Do you have
Yeah.
Facebook too? Okay,
Yeah, everything. So if you go to my website too, down at the bottom, you can click on all my
good.
different
Okay, great.
social medias.
Thank
Yes.
you so much for joining me today, Brittany, and I wish you the best. And I'm going to be plugging for you big time. So we'll see what we can do. And I'm spreading it out as much as I can. And I certainly appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Have a
Good
great
luck.
day.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, happy Valentine's Day.
Take care. Get
Thank
back to work now. Bye bye.